Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jan. I'm the CEO of Acquire.Fi. I got Nathan here with me. Unfortunately, today Andrew couldn't join, but we'll probably have another video later this week. Nathan, what's up? What are you seeing? We don't have our main
Two
graph guy with
two
us, but
videos. Yeah, two videos in 1 week. The markets must be getting exciting.
wow, yeah, ooh, sweating here
Now I
already.
think we've got big day tomorrow with all the tariff talk kind of coming to fruition. No real word yet whether or not things are going to get pushed back by a month, whether or not the proposed tariffs are going to go through and take effect tomorrow. And if they do, most importantly, what's the response from countries around the world? It's not looking great for the traditional markets right now. I think the S&P is setting up for a major pullback from what I understand. This is obviously all coming from the experts that I follow on YouTube, not my own personal research. I'm not expecting to see any significant pumps in the Bitcoin world anytime soon. Much more likely a retest of these lows down here from just a few weeks back when we wicked down to about 76 and a half. I think as long as we stay above that, especially on a high time frame, day or higher closing basis, closing below that, I think is bad news. That could be where I start getting bearish, at least for farther than quarter three. Let's put it that way. If we start closing below March's low, I think we're in some serious trouble. But that being said, we're looking pretty good today, sitting around 83. Depending on what happens with the tariffs tomorrow, definitely could see something play out down around these lows before we start a recovery. I'm not, as we've discussed in the last couple episodes, expecting any sort of return to $100,000 and new all-time highs anytime soon. I think we see that in quarter three. But I think one last test of the lows would make me very confident that they are in fact in for the foreseeable future. That the hash ribbons indicator firing off last week is going to hold, and we're going to start to see slow grind up before back into full-on bull mode.
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out a little bit from this graph, I think we're going to be seeing something similar that we had with before Trump got elected. We're going to be here for a while, probably in the 98, 76K range, at least for 6 months. And then we're going to either go up or down quite a lot. But obviously, like, this is a good accumulation zone. I'm DCAing. I think this zone will be here for a while. And I do agree with you. Like, if we go lower than 76, we might be in a bearish zone for a while, but I think there's so many bullish news on BTC that I can't see that happening. Or at least if we go down, like, there's going to be a lot of accumulation happening.
There's a high.
Yeah.
I think there's a high consolidation of liquidity. I don't have it pulled up here, but between around like 81 to 78ish range. So we talked last week, could see that liquidity cascade to the downside. But once you get down kind of below that 78, 77 range, that those liquidations kind of dry up. So could see a violent move downward, but as long as we hold strong here, I think there's a good chance we will. I think we'll be all right.
No, I totally agree. And we have Sailor saving us with his BTC buys. What can go wrong?
Well, I mean, I never thought I'd see the day, but we're finally starting to see people fudding Sailor buying.
Oh wow! What a surprise! We have to have fun in this market.
If you want to throw me back up on the screen here. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I've seen multiple people with this take here. I don't know if it's copy pasta or what, but people started to FUD the MicroStrategy accumulation of Bitcoin. I mean, just I think it was a day or two ago, he announced another 2 billion in buys and announced 21 billion more in fundraising for future buys. How anyone could take that as negative for the market? I get you're a Bitcoin maxi most likely, and you don't like that he's accumulated almost 3% of the total supply. But if we're talking about saving our asses in this mini bear market, putting us back into the golden bowl, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, remember he was also promising us that he's gonna burn his seed phrases. So I mean, this is pretty bullish news. Think about if he buys even 1% more or 2% more and burns the seed phrase. I think we can't really blame him. But obviously, like from the Bitcoin maxis, I understand their point of view. Like if you have one entity holding too much, it's a systematic risk. But obviously, like behind the money, there's a lot of different funds. And this is not just one entity. It's just one entity holding so many different different funds.
The maxis are kind of up against the wall a little bit here with not liking the accumulation. So you've created this amazing asset, the greatest asset in the world, and now you're mad because institutions and rich people want to buy it. Like, I mean, you can't have it both ways. If you've created the new digital gold, if you've created the world's greatest asset of all time, of course, nation states and major institutions like BlackRock and funds like MicroStrategy and people like Michael Saylor are going to try and accumulate as much as they can. Like, you can't have it both ways. So I don't know, a little chicken and an egg, a little catch-22 problem that the maxis are going to have to deal with. Either it's a fundamental flaw or the fundamental benefit of Bitcoin. It can't be both.
Yeah, but let's hope that North Korea will not steal these, right?
Hopefully MicroStrategy is keeping a little better security practices than our friends over at Bybit.
Yeah, no, this is good.
Well, one would hope so. It's been an interesting week. I think everything is just hanging, as we have been for a while, waiting on the macro environment, waiting on what happens with these tariffs, waiting on what happens with the different conflicts around the world. Obviously, the biggest and most polarizing being the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But we're seeing things kick off in with the Houthi rebels attacking the pirates over there. Now there's been, people are shouting that, they're tied to Iran and that America has to go start a war with Iran now. And just, how it typically is. The powers that be are can't let there be peace. So none of that would be good for the overall market, starting another war, especially a war with Iran or further proliferating the war with Russia. So I think until some of those things get settled, it's really out of the Bitcoin and crypto people's hands. That being said, we're seeing some amazing bullish news here. Get around to the tariffs. Oh, obviously can't be more bullish on XRP than that. The analysts, those mystery analysts predicting a 72,500% surge. That would only put XRP roughly at $8 trillion market cap, over 4 times the market cap of Bitcoin right now. But sure, why not? Why not?
I think this is the same as Katie Woods and ARK. So her prediction that BTC will go to 2 million during this bull run, that would be this year, is the same as XRP would go bigger than BTC.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're probably just jealous because you don't hold a lot of XRP. The rest of us XRP nation, where we know this is true and about to happen. So you can flood us or you can join us, Jan.
I'll think about it. Maybe we put some more treasury in XRP.
Or get left behind. Well, I think some stuff that still continues to drive this bullishness and these kind of stories that we're seeing in the markets is, if you look outside of the macro view, like we've never had more consistently bullish news for crypto ever. Literally in the history of Bitcoin, there's never been another bull run where we've had this much constant positive news. We already talked about Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy buying. We now have the FDIC, which is America's banking regulation, or their insurance for banks. They pretty much tell banks what they can and can't do, for better or for worse. But the FDIC is now clarifying the process for banks to engage in crypto-related activities. They go on to further explain what does that mean, right? So acting as custodians, which would mean you could now hold crypto assets in your bank account, which would be massive for the average user. People like my dad, the guy, bless him, but not the most tech savvy guy in the world, right? Not someone I'm going to feel super confident, chucking his retirement funds into a DeFi platform or even centralized exchanges. But being able to custody that in your own bank, obviously, is going to provide a lot of security and open up a lot of doors for not just retirees, but the American public in general. I think what is it? Less than 1% of Americans own crypto right now. Something small like that. So these are the kind of steps that are going to allow people to en masse join the crypto game. Something that we've all been talking about, this mass adoption for every single cycle. It's usually kind of one of those market the signs the market's about to top is when everyone starts saying, oh, it's time for mass adoption. But this time we're serious. Mass adoption, and this is the kind of stuff that's going to pave the way for that.
No, I agree. When I worked, this is an interesting stat. When I worked with Paxful back in the days, we tried to basically get more people to get banked. We realized that I think 70% of people have bank accounts in the United States. This number was in 2015, and 30% of people in the United States living there did not have a bank account. I think the number is now a little bit better, but we're still kind of like in a phase of getting people to bank and getting people to use crypto. So I think this is very bullish. And maybe there are some new
maxis.
Yeah, and maybe there are some new customers that are coming in because of this. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the maxis are going to look at this as like, oh, we DeFi only, and don't get me wrong, I agree. That's the ultimate goal. That's kind of the core ethos of blockchain, of Bitcoin, and what crypto's ethos should be. Seeing these big centralized players coming in and trying to take over the industry, it can be concerning. But there's certain elements of our, for example, the American society. Like my dad's never going to be in DeFi, right? And there's millions and millions and millions of baby boomer retirees that have literally, I don't know what are they, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in assets in their retirement plans. That the only way it's ever going to come into crypto is through an institution like a bank that they're familiar with. So I don't see these as overall bad. But again, it's a wake-up call. DeFi needs to get its shit together. Having this super cool tech and transparency, verifiable on-chain, censorship proof, blockchains and currencies don't do any good if we can't freaking use them. So yeah, we got some work to do, but hopefully this kind of points that out, and people can take the right message from this. If you don't want centralized entities and governments controlling this industry, then we need to step up our game as builders in this space.
No, absolutely agree. We need so much better UX still. We're so far ahead, so far away from like really good fintech companies that have this like capacity to produce very good tech and apps. And I hope to see that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Off the back of that, what I would say, the bullish news with the FDIC, we're seeing a lot of, again, some might look at it as big centralized entities coming in and taking over, but at the same time, these regulatory doors opening up present opportunities for everybody. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson's, love or hate the guy, obviously a very prominent figure in the space, a pioneer of the space, interviewing with the Wolf of All Streets, talking about these new regulations with FDIC and other stablecoin and market structure bills that are being put forth. It opens the door for companies like Apple, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft to put wallets on their platform, to make on ramps and off ramps via their platforms. And as he mentions here, they got over 3 billion customers, 3 billion users, right? Those are the kind of things that are going to allow people to onboard. And obviously, once they do onboard, I'm not leaving my crypto in Google's hands or Facebook's hands or Apple's hands for that matter. But once that money is in, then it gives us the possibility to continue to educate and move people into better platforms, into DeFi and things like that. So overall, I'm looking at this as a net positive.
No, I agree. Obviously, again, it's very hard to get into these marketplaces, I would say, like Apple, Google, and so forth. And even we get requests for existing crypto companies wanting to buy an app that is listed on these app stores or Google app stores and so forth. I think this is very bullish. I think this is something that we needed, is much needed. And obviously, like people don't understand. Like once this happens, there's billions of new users coming in. And again, we need better UX. Like I'm gonna say it until people understand.
Well, and it's not just our industry that's getting excited about this. We're seeing entities in the U.S., the U.S. government coming forward. Again, this is happening week after week after week, pretty much since November. Today, the newest one, Senator Tommy Tuberville, great name by the way, introducing a bill allowing Americans to invest their retirement funds in crypto. Right, so pairing that hand in hand with the FDIC rulings that we saw there. This is going to make it possible for people, hopefully, to again use platforms that they're comfortable with to go directly through, whatever it is, Fidelity or whatever their retirement platform they're currently using, and put some of that money into crypto. Now, long term, I do think that is a net positive. We'll see how this kind of works out in terms of what kind of on ramp, off ramp, and rails they put around there. But we're seeing just more and more, whether it's government agencies, institutions, large companies, wealthy people, the opportunity to access the entire United States retirement funds. I don't know. It seems kind of bullish to me.
No, this is very good. Again, like I feel like every episode that we bring on, there's more and more of these bullish news, but the price doesn't move. Obviously, it's gonna change at some point. There's always like these mini bear markets or bear markets overall. That's time when you want to invest. Like when market is very much down, there's a huge fear in the market. It's very good opportunities to basically pick up some good picks.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're into fractals or not. I mean, I don't necessarily think that. I think fractals can show us what's possible and what has happened. Great kind of reference point from a mindset. I don't look at them as like map this out. It's going to go exactly where this one does. But great lesson here. We can see this is a 2020 run, and this is the 2024-25 run is almost perfectly mirroring that. Point being that. You don't need to go and extrapolate what percentage did it go up in 2020. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Not at all. But just to understand that, like these periods of long, downtrend and then long consolidations are perfectly normal within a bull market. It doesn't mean that we broke the 4-year cycle and that everything's over. Like we've seen this before. The exact same thing happened, in 2021. Bitcoin did a huge run up, consolidated for a while, dumped, and then took almost, I think it was like 7 months before we got back to the previous range that we were at before this dump. So we are now let's say, I guess November, so December, January, February, March, we're 4 months in. But very easily could see another 2 to 3 months. That would not be out of the ordinary at all in a regular Bitcoin cycle. So I think people overall just need to chill the fuck out for a little bit and be a little patient. It's kind of out of our hands at the moment with what's going on in the larger overall economic picture of the world.
Yeah, and I think the money supply again is starting to print soon. Once that happens, we will start seeing more bullishness. That money will come back. And remember, FTX is going to start paying also their customers now. That means that there's $15 billion coming into the market. I don't think everyone will sell. And probably someone will change their shitcoin to BTC. So again, perfect time to accumulate BTC. Just do DCA weekly. Best strategy ever.
All the Ethereum guys are getting break even, so they should be happy. Bitcoiners are down a bit, but
yeah.
We've got a couple catalysts that we know are just in the wings waiting to happen, and I think this administration is just being smart, or I guess tactical about how they release these things. When terms comes to quantitative easing, printing money, cutting these rates and stuff. That's the ultimate goal. I think regardless of what's going on in the larger economic picture, when we start printing money again, everything's back on. And we're seeing as well, Congressman here saying that the U.S. is going to be buying over 1 million Bitcoins. We've been talking about this since they announced their strategic reserve and confirmed the strategic reserve. Again, I think this is another announcement they have waiting in the wings. It's just a matter of time. We're going to start printing money. The U.S. is going to start buying Bitcoin, and then there's nothing that's going to stop Bitcoin from absolutely just sending at that point.
No, I agree. I mean, again, we're very bullish here. There's a lot of bullish news. don't get negative despite of the market. Just hold on and DCA.
And now that Jan says that, here's some bearish news that we're seeing in crypto right now. Obviously, we got the tariffs coming up tomorrow. This is really what it's going to come down to. China, Japan, and South Korea agree to jointly respond to U.S. tariffs. What is the response around the world going to be to all of these tariffs? That's going to, I think, determine our short-term future for Bitcoin. Or do we test those lows again? Do we see, kind of a step back from the tariffs on the U.S. side? Is the response from other countries not that harsh, compared to what people are thinking? But that I think that's kind of the bearish cloud that's looming over us all right now, is these tariffs, which are due to go into effect in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, I think this is very bearish overall for the market. I think in the short term, we will see a lot of price action going downwards. But after that, I think in the long term, hopefully we'll get this sold and we get some kind of new world order where US is back on action and taking the lead here. Obviously, there's a lot of if and question marks, but I think once tariffs are over, I think there's going to be a good season, good rally.
What are you, I mean, how has, our core business is mergers, acquisitions, OTC deals, secondaries. How have these markets affected the OTC and the secondaries market? I know we've got some great projects and some great deals on the marketplace right now, but what are your thoughts overall in the secondaries market right now?
They're definitely getting a little bit slower. There's a lot of different OTC deals happening straight up from the companies and treasuries. That's been very positive to the market, to be honest. But if you are an investor and you have a SAFT and you have plus 2 years vesting or cliff, and it's not the top 100 or top 200 project, it's very hard to sell. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be very hard to get out of your positions. But again, hey, we're getting still buy orders. Genshin is one of them. There's still a lot of people looking at Monad. If people don't know what Genshin is basically an AI platform or kind of like a L1, L2 mixture. But if you go back to Athena, there's a lot of buy orders on that. We've been working on that for a while. There are buy orders. Like if people think that it's only people or VCs are only selling, that's not true at all. They are accumulating, and they're accumulating quite big portions. So anyone there that is looking for big sizes or wants to liquidate some of their assets, or at least try to liquidate, just come to us. We're happy to quote. And I'm thinking soon to offer these deals also for the community. I think these are very good chances because they are like 6-month vesting, 6-month cliff, and even shorter vesting. And I think some of these deals make a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's some pretty good discounts going around out there right now. If you are long-term on the markets, if you are bullish over the next year, then I think these deals make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think we have 5 minutes. Bill, what's our last thing to cover? Yeah, Bitcoin ETF flows. I just want to say here, like I was covering this for a while last year, and the ETF flows have been going downwards a little bit more than usual. Like I think the average what we saw last year was between 100 to $250 million days, and now lately it's been under 100 or even minus. So this is not pretty bullish, but obviously, like if MicroStrategy is buying all the BTC, what to do?
Yeah, and again, I think it just kind of goes back to the larger macroeconomic picture. These ETF flows, these are primarily, U.S. citizens, average normies that are driving this ETF demand. If they're concerned about a housing market collapse, if they're concerned about war in Europe escalating, if they're concerned about these trade wars and tariff wars going on, they're not going to be chucking more money into Bitcoin, which is still considered a very high risk asset for most people, especially your average TradFi investor. So totally makes sense that the inflows are down. Now, how quickly does that turn around when US announces they're buying 1 million Bitcoin and quantitative easing starts and interest rates get cut? I would expect to see these numbers flip very, very quickly. I would love to see a chart comparing ETF flows and Google Trend searches for Bitcoin and crypto. I bet they map pretty closely together. We'll have to look into that. Maybe I can pull something up for Friday.
No, I agree. Maybe we can do something on AI front. But yeah, like I said this again, I said it before. I think when normies have hard time to even like buy food and the groceries are very high, like what do you do? And yeah, like look at Polymarket. If you have boomers and like normal people betting that the house market will go straight to zero, like it is pretty bearish. Where do you get money to buy BTC? So
Nobody's got any money for Bitcoin ETFs because they're risking it all on Polymarket and what's the other one that starts with a K? Kelsha or
yeah, or pump that fun.
or Pump.Fun. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, if the housing market is going to collapse, can at least wait till after the bull market so I have some money to buy some property with? I mean,
No, I agree. Maybe they accept BTC already, so let's see.
mhm.
But I think this is good to end here. Guys, we will have another show probably in 2 days' time. We'll see what will happen in the tariffs. Short question, short summary. Nathan, what do you think will happen tomorrow?
Honestly, tomorrow I think is going to be a bit of a nothing burger. If there was going to be any sort of real major changes to what's already in place, or we would have heard something by now. If Europe was preparing major retaliatory actions, they're not trying to surprise us, right? They don't want these to happen. There would be negotiations ongoing. There'd be news stories coming out about it. So I'm expecting kind of like a nothing burger or things get delayed. And I think the most impactful stuff is going to be delayed. If we don't see some major announcements tomorrow that push markets down, I would be very concerned and nervous for the next month that you're kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop. Because these other countries, if the tariffs go into place at the current rates that they're at, they're not going to take it sitting down. They're not going to take it quietly. So if we don't see some fireworks tomorrow, I'll be a bit concerned. But I'm not expecting anything. So I do kind of expect a delayed reaction and be waiting for something over the next month or so.
Yeah, I expect huge volatility. I do expect some dumping. Like I said before, we were expecting 76, 78, but I don't think we see going that far down. I think there's going to be huge volatility. I'm going to repeat it again. But overall, in the long term, I think BTC is a good hedge. And I think dollar is actually losing its hedge. Like having dollars is not actually anymore a good thing. And I think during this tariffs war, we'll expect more and more people going to BTC and gold. But yeah, I think that's good to wrap up.
Yeah.
Nathan, any final words?
No, I'll say it'd be fun to check back on Friday and kind of see what happens, follow up with everything that we talked about here today. I'm sure in the next 2 days, there's going to be plenty more stories for us to cover.
I do agree. Hey, please guys follow us on Twitter, on YouTube.